Look about you. What do you see? A civilization that worships the idea of expertise, of being the best, of knowing everything in your profession. A culture that punishes you for being mediocre, that laughs at you when you stumble, and ignores you when you fail. They advise you to climb to the top, to be the greatest in the game, to become an expert, or you'll be left behind. But here's the problem about experts, my dear friend. They're feared, respected, powerful. Experts get to write the rules. They get to break them too. They understand the game so completely that it's not a game anymore. It's their playground. And everyone else? They're just the pawns. Pathetic, throwaway. Once you grasp the game, once you become an expert, you stop playing by their rules because the rules don't apply to you longer. You wish to endure this world? No, scratch that. You want to prosper in this world, in your career, whatever that field could be. It's not enough to be good. It's not even enough to be amazing. You've got to be something more. You've got to be the one who knows more, sees more, controls more. And that takes something they don't like to talk about. That takes obsession. That requires a mind warped enough to do whatever it takes, no matter the cost. Are you ready for that? Let's talk about becoming an expert, because it's not what they told you in your pretty little motivating seminars. No, it's something far deeper, much more sinister, but oh so delicious. Becoming an expert isn't about memorizing knowledge or passing examinations or acquiring beautiful little diplomas to place on your wall. No, becoming an expert is about owning your universe. It's about bending it to your will. It's about becoming so immersed, so obsessed by what you do, that you blur the lines between you and it. The field becomes you and you become it. But there's a price, you see. Oh yes, there's always a price. To become an expert, you have to be willing to lose yourself in the turmoil. To stare into the abyss long enough till you become the abyss. Are you ready for that? Because that's what it takes. Look at me. Do you think I just got up one day and declared, I'm going to be an agent of chaos? No. I studied. I learned the system inside and out. I became an expert in lunacy, in disturbance, in twisting every little rule until it cracked under my fingers. It took time, it took dedication, it required sacrifice. But look at me now. I'm the one who chooses what happens next. I'm the one they can't ignore. You want that power, don't you? Oh, I see it in your eyes. You want to matter. You want to climb above the mindless drones that clog your profession. Good. But remember this, competence is lonely. It's isolating. The further you travel, the less people can follow you. But that's just good, because when you're on top, when you know more than anyone else, you don't need anyone else. They need you. They come crawling to you, begging for your knowledge, your expertise, your insight. And when they do, you smile. You smile because you've won. You've become untouchable. And isn't that what we all want? But let's be real for a second. Becoming an expert isn't for the faint-hearted. It's a hard trip, full of blood, sweat, and dashed hopes. You'll have to make compromises. And not the kind of sacrifices that leave you feeling virtuous and heroic, no. I'm talking about the sacrifices that take portions of your soul. You'll lose pals. You'll lose comfort. You'll lose the pleasant illusion of security. But in exchange, you'll receive something far more valuable, control. Control over your fate, control over your destiny, and most importantly, control over those who stand in your way. You see, most individuals are afraid to delve deep. They scratch the surface, thinking that's enough. They settle for mediocrity because it's safe, because it's comfy. But not you. No, you're going to go deeper. You're going to dig until your hands bleed, until the world around you starts to blur, and you're not even sure where you end and your knowledge begins. That's the level you need to reach. You need to go so far that there's no going back. No retreat, no surrender, just forward. Always ahead. And when you're deep in it, when you're so far in that you can't even see the surface anymore, that's when you'll know. You'll know you're becoming an expert. You'll know because it'll consume you. It'll haunt your dreams. It'll infect your thoughts. And eventually, it'll be the only thing that counts. Nothing else will compare. Nothing else will satisfy you. And you know what? That's a good thing. That's a terrific thing. You know, the world is replete with people who dabble, who try a little of this and a little of that, thinking they can master everything. But the truth is, mastery doesn't come to the dabblers. It comes to those who are willing to commit, to those who are willing to lose themselves in the quest of excellence. And once you do that, once you commit, you'll find that everything else falls into place. The power, the respect, the fear, they all come to you because you've become something more. You've become an expert. But here's the fun bit. Once you've reached that level, once you're at the top, you're not bound by the rules anymore. The rules? They're for the amateurs, the beginners. But you'll write your own rules. You'll decide what's right and what's wrong, and the rest of the world will follow. And if they don't, well, they'll suffer for it. It's a twisted little game we play, isn't it? The world tells you to follow the route, to do things the way they've always been done. But the great specialists, the ones who climb above the rest, they break the mold. They break expectations. They rewrite the game. You want to be an expert? Then you've got to be willing to destroy the rules. You've got to be willing to build your own way, to forge a path so unique, so undeniably yours, that no one else can follow. That's the secret they don't tell you. To be an expert, you have to be willing to stand alone. You have to be willing to be the only one who understands, the only one who sees the world the way you do. But once you achieve that level, once you've crossed that threshold, the world is yours. You'll hold the power in your hands, and the rest? They'll be playing catch-up for the rest of their lives. So, are you ready for that? Are you ready to become the kind of expert who can bend the world to your will? Are you willing to do what it takes, to make the sacrifices, to lose yourself in the quest of greatness? Because once you start, there's no coming back. There's no stopping midway. You either become the best, or you slip into oblivion with the rest of the herd. But you won't fall, will you? No, you've got something extraordinary. I can see it. You're not afraid of a little madness, a little mayhem. You're ready to take the plunge, to dive deep into the unknown, and come out the other side as something more, something greater, something harmful. And once you do, after you've become an expert, the world will never be the same. You'll be unstoppable, unpredictable, and that, my dear friend, is when the real fun begins. So what are you waiting for? Stop sitting around. Stop waiting for permission, for validation. The time for doubt is past. The time for hesitation is gone. It's time to act. It's time to become an expert in your profession. Not just good, not just outstanding. The best. The one who controls it all. After all, in a world full of amateurs, it's the specialists that dominate. It's the specialists who climb. And it's the specialists that win.